Hello, 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 and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am one lion. This is a treehouse. Is it? It's a birdhouse. I couldn't tell how far away it was. It looks like it's like off in the distance, connected to the. Is it? Oh my gosh, I can't tell. Crazy stuff. What were you looking at, camera? Hello, I'm right here, camera. Looks like this is what we're doing today. This is what I look like. That might be a Texan flag. Let's find out. Interact with Windows Swap. It's French. It is from unknown France. I've never heard of unknown France. Those birds look really big compared to the size of the bird bath thing. Because the thing looks so much further away in my small screen. So DC Aggie told us earlier that tonight's movie might be the original Planet of the Apes. And Zulius is saying tonight's movie for me is the complete Hobbit trilogy in an Amazon watch party. Holy cow. Yeah, I don't have any plans for tonight, and I have no idea if my wife has any desired plans either. So we're just going to do whatever happens. Make it a nice, relaxing. It was rainy earlier and still kind of overcast, so it's such a nice day. So relaxing. So good and so nice feeling that I don't want to put any expectations or pressures on a day like today. It feels so good. I want it to be perfect for her. Anyway, don't hate me, but I like the old animated one. Of what? Planet of the Apes or Hobbit? Because you know me, I'm not a massive movie buff, so I don't know these things. Is there even an animated one? The animated Loader movie? Loader? Does anyone even say Loader? I do. Who the hell schedules a standing meeting on Fridays? Um, every Friday we have a morning coffee social, and every month on a Friday we have a Colorado specific what are they called? Sync, SYNC. And lately I have been invited to a daily meeting that's going to go through for the next 2 weeks every morning, 8:30 to 9 o'clock my time. Plus my normal meetings on Tuesdays, plus moving on. It's been a fun day so far. I hope your meeting goes well, DC Aggie. But I liked it too, and Zulius is saying in reference to the Lord of the Rings animated Hobbit movies. I liked it too, and I still want to see the second part of that, of whose existence I've only learned of a few years ago. That's fairly recent. It's not that long ago. So welcome to the Daily Code Fun. If I didn't actually introduce myself, I'm One Lion. We have been messing around on the stream. The end. We've been having fun doing a financial management tracking app. Everything from initial scope and requirements through design, through. We haven't done architecture planning yet, but I'm not really planning on deploying this anytime soon. And the way that we're designing it is architecture agnostic for the most part. We could do it on a hosted backend. We could do it on an on-premise server. We could do it on containers, however we want to do it. Static apps. what is this? You go here. But as I was working this morning on my actual job, I'm where am I? What is it? Let me read Zulius's message first because that'll be easier. Zulius says, compared to the first part, which I watched like a quarter of a century ago, yeah, fairly recent. um, so this morning I was working on solidifying my UI project. So I'm doing the UI coding for someone else designed the screens and everything. I have the requirements. I sketched out all of the UI and all of that stuff, put it inside of a Blazor UI project, hooked it up to a Maui project, or sorry, yeah, hooked it up to a Maui project, and mocked up all of the UI. And everything is working well. They're really happy with the direction it's going. So now, in effort to make sure that the integration of this UI with the existing system, because it's a modernization effort, I am trying to integrate one of the core functionalities of the application from the core library into this UI. And to do that, I am using a lot of abstractions. And yesterday we were talking about making sure that this app has the right amount of abstractions in this shared library. And I think I came up with an answer to the question I asked about where to put enums and extensions. So we're going to try that, and we're going to see how it goes. But I'm still wondering about a couple things like this localization. But here's what we're going to do. Because I don't want to deal with renaming this and then going into the folder and then renaming the folder and then going into the solution and then renaming the solution and all of the CSproj references to match the folder structure, because I want my on-disk folder structure to match. I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. And hello Funky. Thank you so much for the follow. Hello Coding with Scott, who calls me 11 Lion, among other things. He also calls me Hey, Guy, Person. Actually, no, he hasn't called me that. Anyway, and hello Tommy. Hello everyone. Welcome in. It is Community Day. I meant to say that, by the way. And what we do on Community Day is you can feel free to ask me whatever you feel like asking me. If you have anything that you feel like discussing, having a conversation about, and you want to talk with me or talk on the stream to the viewers as well, then I invite you into our Discord, where you can, and I don't even have that set up right now, where you can join a voice channel and the stream waiting room, and I will pull you into the actual stream channel. And when you talk, your voice will come through on the stream. Over the past few weeks, we really haven't had too much going on, and I haven't really done a good job of organizing anything or coming up with topics to discuss. But the invitation is there. But I also, at the same time, want to get through this explanation. And hello, Science Streams. So many amazing people showing up. A couple of shout outs real quick. We got. So I don't have any. I'm not as cool as you guys. I don't really have custom shout outs yet. I just have the go look at this person's channel. Check them out. They're amazing. The end. But really, I definitely enjoy watching these guys. So much great content. Funky was asking what's my project. So the project that we are actually working on currently is a financial management tracker. Finan Man. dot abstractions is what I'm going to call this project. And what this project is going to be doing is helping you to manage your finances by allowing you to input transactions that you've done. So it's not nearly going to be as fully featured as existing solutions like Mint or anything else, TurboTax or QuickBooks or whatever else you can think of that helps you to do financial management tracking. What this is a full stack project that I'm posting all of our work to an open source GitHub repo. And yeah, we're going through the whole entire process beginning to end and just showing what it would look like for a single solo, even though it's not really solo because you guys are helping out with a lot of the decisions that I'm making. So but just a full stack development project just to show you can use Blazor to make an application that is going to be accessible and available and just responsive and all of the good things. And it's going to be great. It's also like, I hope to edit the videos so that everything is laid out in a way that you can easily jump to a topic or find out information about maybe how to accomplish something that we happen to be doing in the app. Like right now we're doing a lot of UI work. So if you're interested in figuring out how do I put together a UI, how do I design, how do I do CSS or whatever, how do I use Blazor so that I don't have to use JavaScript? Those are the main things that I am currently answering and working on. So I'm going to move all of these up here. And I'm going to answer your question, Tommy. It's not very long, but I also have an example to further elaborate on it. No rush on reading. Cool. Deflex is here. Then Jesus said, go watch one line. He knows what's up. I don't think he said that. It's the only thing he knows how to say. I haven't done anything with the bot. I didn't end up doing anything with the bot last night because I was finishing up. I ran into that issue that I posted in Discord where when I was doing a publish on my Maui app, it was publishing it with version 0.1.0.0 every time, no matter what I did. I didn't change the CS proj. I didn't change the project structure. Oh. It's not playing right now, though, is it? I think it's done playing. And there's no way for me to see history. It only shows me what songs are going to play, which is really annoying. But I'll write it down the next time I see it. Just try to draw my attention to it again. Completely forgot what I was saying. Doesn't matter. Haven't worked on the bot. I was working on the Maui issue, right? So the way that I ended up fixing it was I just recreated the Maui project and then reset it up and pointed my UI to it. Pointed it to my UI. Whatever. So anyway. So with this, I should be able to safely delete this project and then re-reference it from other projects. However, before I do that, I want to get this thing situated. Oh, okay, never mind. I totally thought that I had already set up this service at least somewhere once, and I haven't. Okay, great. Delete. Yeah, and I think it's because there is a new CS project that gets generated with the new Maui projects, and the .NET build tool was updated to use that one, and it's not quite getting the version information the same, or not 1,000,000% sure why. Okay, so my abstractions is the only thing that I want my UI to reference. Excuse me. Which is crazy if you think about it. that means that my UI project will not have a reference to implemented models at all. So I will need to think of how to get around. Yeah, there's one thing that I haven't figured out in this approach yet. So I'm going to leave that there for now. But this means that everything that I have a model for, and you'll see pretty quickly what the issue is. So for example, I have data entry models. And those would be, dude, let me in. Those would be the iDeposit view model, iLine item view model, iPayment entry view model, and iTransfer view model. And we would just take all of these properties and methods and put them into the interfaces. Oops, didn't mean to actually grab the class. View mode, heck yeah. I know how to type. Hush you. Cool. And then that means that the get would return, or would I think this was when we were discussing something. I don't think that this thing actually has a bool method called get that does anything. Let's find out real quick. Save. And then do some other work, obviously. That one is just a placeholder. Okay, so anyway, I'll try to notice the chat sooner, faster. Okay, so Tommy's question real quick, let me get to this, is, oh yeah, I didn't even finish setting that up. Captain Commerce has a family emergency today, so he's not streaming tonight. That's sad. So no Captain Commerce stream tonight, just so you know. The Galaxy Z Fold 4. Sorry, Tommy got the Galaxy Z Fold 4. It's so much easier to say Z when it's saying Galaxy before. Yesterday, because Samsung had a great deal, and it's the only reason he went through with it. But it's awesome, he says. It's really great. So he has a question. His question is, how do you manage or recommend handling implementing automated scheduled tasks in your application? For example, I'm currently implementing a scheduled task that will import a large amount of company data from the Vonage reporting API and transform it to fit our DB schema, and then allow an admin to go in and handle view exceptions that happen during the process. So here's the thing. You're kind of indicating two different problems at the same time. One problem is having a scheduled task that runs while your application is active, you're in it, and then, like, let's say at 5 o'clock you have an automated scan that runs, and your application should be showing you the progress of this scan. It should disable certain features while that scan is running. So that's one thing. The process that I think you're referring to is more like an ETL or ELT, depending on which order you happen to do that in, where it's independent of your application. And so you have kind of this process that will fire off, get data, load it somewhere, and then you perform some kind of transformation to put it into your database, or you execute the process, transform it during that process, or get the data, transform it during that process, and then load it into your database. So that is definitely, like, right now the only thing I can think of is Azure. Like that's like the forefront thing in my mind, because I've been doing a lot of studying for the AZ204, which is everything to do with use Azure Cloud Services for everything. So if you use something like Power BI, Azure, what used to be Azure Data Lakes, or maybe it is Azure Data Lakes and it used to be something else. I already can't remember. I'm gonna fail the test, but it's okay. So you have, like, my initial response to you without having any knowledge of Azure would have been, you have some kind of worker service that is installed to run as a service on whatever server you are performing all of these operations on. And that worker service will just be sitting and waiting for some event to happen, whether it is a message gets put in a queue that it's listening to, or some rule says, as of this time, you should execute. You can use something like Windows Scheduler to tell it when to execute the app if you don't want the app to be running the whole time as a daemon or anything. So there are a bunch of approaches for that. Yeah, but right now I'm not, Bindle. Right now I'm talking, let's say there was no Azure, there was no cloud to help you with this. You would create a worker service type application, and that worker service would either be fired by some scheduling that is on your operating system, or it would constantly run and then hit that rule that says, when the time is blah, or when this much time has passed, then you do this. And so that operation would be the operation that gets the data, transforms it in place, or loads it somewhere and then transforms it, and then stores it in the final resting place. And then when it's in that final resting place, maybe the last part of this scheduled process is send some kind of notification, gRPC, signal R, email, text, phone call, to the person that needs to manage the data afterwards. I guess my boss wanted to handle the service inside of our application at a scheduled time, because in his head, we have this application, so he's wanting to put everything in it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to do that for this scenario. If the application itself is going to be the thing that triggers the event for doing the for performing whatever the ETL ELT operation is, then yeah, which would mean that that application would be your daemon, essentially. It'd be your worker service that's constantly running. So it's the same concept in that case. However, if you happen to be using Azure, yeah, the data gets pulled from the API via JSON and loads it into models I create to represent them, and then commits them to our database. Yeah. So again, that sounds to me like a worker service if you are just doing regular API calls. Yeah, especially that, Tyron. So you would need to coordinate, let's say multiple machines are running the same app, and that application is the one that is saying, as of this scheduled event, or this event, then do this ETL process and you have multiple machines performing it at the same time, that could be bad for you. So yeah, Tyrant has some great recommendations on that too. But be careful because generally you run more than one instance of an app. So whether it's on a load balanced set of servers or in containers or however you happen to be doing it. In Kubernetes, you can set up a job to run, like a cron job, for example. If you do it from the database and have it be a database trigger, the database is the thing that actually fires off this process and does the execute the application that does the go out and get the data, transform it, feed back the data to the database. And then in Azure, you can use Azure Functions to do this, which I was getting to. You can use that, and then there are actual specific processes for doing ETL or ELT, whatever order you want. And it's kind of like a drag and drop GUI. But yeah, that's true. That's actually one of the things I was concerned about. We use Azure and it will automatically scale up to 5 instances. Right. So the same application is running multiple times. You could combine it with some sort of queue. And again, that's where you would have your application listening to a queue. And the first instance of the application that grabs the message from the queue will be the one that runs the job. Okay, so prog testing came in. He says he's here. He's been doing a ton of stuff with web scraping and getting a whole bunch of images. 21,000 images into his app that he needed to upload for this project that he's working on, and it sounds like he's been having fun. I saw the screenshot, by the way. Prog testing, I just hadn't responded to it because I've been super busy this morning. And I'm still thinking about the stuff that I'm going to be super busy about with. Deflex was commiserating with me on the issues with my Maui project doing this publish thing with an old, or a sticky is what I want to call it, sticky version number. And he's like, yeah, sometimes just recreating the project is what it takes to get it fixed. You go there. Thindle got here, and he's like, yeah, you're talking about Azure Functions. I am. I was, and I wasn't, and then I was. So yeah. And then Deflex was playing some bongo drums. And then Thindle wants to know, so how's the awesome human on his screen doing today? I don't know. Who is the human on your screen? I heard Azure and then what you described, and I know this thing. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm getting into it. I'm finally doing the work needed to understand how to set up Azure Functions, when to use them, what types of scenarios. And this type of scenario for a scheduled process that needs to happen sounded a lot like the stuff that I was just reading. It was probably a week ago, though. I've been doing the bot mostly, not really paying attention to the Microsoft Learn courses. I need to finish them all and then schedule my exam before September 29th. Otherwise, I'll get my hand slapped. No, bongo drums is what I use in preference to Signal R. Gotcha. I use smoke signals. So then Tommy was elaborating. Oh yeah, and then Tyron came in. Sorry, and he gave us some good information, some good gotchas when it comes to having scheduled services that an app will manage for you. And it's like, careful when you're running multiple instances of the same app. So that was a great note. And then Tommy said, one of the processes that has to happen during the transforming is querying our current user table and creating properties based on whether one of the models matches to a transaction in that user table as well, with a default for exception. So I'm still not seeing anything that requires someone to be present in order for this automated process to work. You could have the application running as, or you could authenticate it using specific credentials for whatever user you need to get. If it needs to have an authenticated user for doing whatever, obviously the API thing would be server to server, or at least it seems like it would be server to server. I can't really say obviously because I don't know. And Thindle says, basically, I used notes passed to the kid behind me when teacher-son isn't looking. Basically, though. But yeah, how am I doing? I'm kind of stressed and flustered with the imagine working with an existing application that has existed since, I don't know, 1834 or so. And there is a team that is actively maintaining the code base, and you are coming onto the project as someone that is just implementing a UI redesign. Okay, good so far? Are you with me? You're with me. This team has their practices, and they have tool chains that they have put together so that when you build an application, you can get localization, for example. You get all of your regex files generated for you at build time when you specify your English version of them, because they have a central repository for all of their translations, and then you get also a list back of translation of strings that have not been translated. So anyway, and on top of that, you don't have experience with adding tools into your build. So number one, I need to figure out how to do that. But number two, there is very little documentation on how everything is currently set up. So the way that you're supposed to figure out how things work in their app is by opening the project and analyzing it and being like, okay, this is the project structure. This should be standard. This should be what a lot of teams are. There is some team that has been working on some code base forever. Yeah, but I'm the expectation of me is that I implement the design of a UI and I make it so that they can hook up the existing backend code into the UI and plug in this UI into their application. So this morning was my first foray into actually trying to hook up one of their services into my UI, or at least the abstractions that they have created for these services. And they don't use folders, for one, which kind of baffles me. I would have expected to see, at least things grouped together in some kind of folder structure in the project. But the other thing is just, I don't know. It's been tough trying to understand how they have put everything together. Yeah, so like, for example, they have an abstractions project. In that abstractions project, there are a whole bunch of interfaces. Some of them are service interfaces, some of them are model interfaces, some of them are interfaces to have interfaces, but no folders to know which is which. And then the naming of the projects is also not intuitive. So their base implementations of everything is in a project that I wouldn't know what it was unless I was looking very, very closely at the code. If I wasn't actually looking for, okay, how is this, where exactly is this implemented so I can see an example of how to mock it for my own project. And I'm just like a little overwhelmed because when I had the conversation with the project lead, I don't know if I just don't know how to read him. I don't know if he was being snarky with me or if he was actually being genuine. But he's like, okay, so you're at a point where you're wanting to integrate the backend into your UI. So go ahead and try to do the get that system information page set up and hook it up to our backend. Yeah, that should be pretty easy, right? So it'll be done tomorrow. And I was just like, no, because I'm currently working on this other portion of it. Oh, how are you implementing that? I'm following the example from the Shure from this other project, and he's like, no. Like, just no. Um, so like the way that I think it should be done, from what I can see, is you create localization, a resources folder, localizations, and then you have some kind of class that uses iString localizer and gets the localized strings from there. And I kind of have one for every single one of my usages because I have a generic iString localizer of T. And he just kept saying no a lot. And I'm like, oh, good grief. How hard can it be? Best thing to hear from a manager. Exactly. So, and it's just really tough because when I'm talking with the client, program lead or project lead or whatever they are, they're always talking good. They're like, you're going in the right direction. Keep going. Look at doing the localization. Look at doing the accessibility, which I got a lot of that done yesterday. And then we'll start hooking you up with the current project team and talk about how to get this integrated and how to prepare it. And yeah. Oh my gosh. So the DC Aggie was responding to Thindle's comment about the how hard can it be. DC Aggie was saying that how hard can it be comment. It's just one more button's nasty cousin. Oh my goodness. So anyway, my feelings about this are all over the place. I think they're feelings. Anyway, my body experiences are all over the place. I think these are my feelings though. Because 3 days ago, I was invited to this other initiative, 2 other initiatives that are super duper interesting, and they're asking for my expert opinion or for me to weigh in on these things, and I had like 2 days to respond, and I responded. They pulled me into the group and were treating me like I was the subject matter expert on this thing, and I'm like, I'm just kind of here to give you my opinion and my thoughts because that's what you asked for. Don't take it as gospel. Don't take it as super duper well thought out. But now I'm a part of that group. And it's like, oh man, they're valuing me at a place where I think I can reasonably expect to be valued, but at the same time it's like I have this project that's I'm trying to focus on, and then the team that matters is kind of treating me like I'm just kind of a nuisance. You should only be doing UI work, and I talk about that way too much, but I got it out there. I spoke about it, and I'm done talking about it. But Thindle asked how I was doing, and that's how I'm doing. I'm all over the place as far as my self-confidence and my struggles in the application that I'm working on. I find it fun So I find struggling fun. I know that's kind of odd, but a lot of you could also relate with that, especially when the struggle ends with I solved this thing and I think I did it in a pretty elegant, pretty nice way. That's going to be helpful and maintainable and stuff. So, yeah. Okay, moving on. Did we actually answer your question though, Tommy? Did we give you a good enough response that you can make a decision off of, or do you want to continue discussing that? Scooch. Yeah, absolutely. That's the problem with like asking two questions in the positive in a row. It's like, were you answering yeah, absolutely to the first one? Yeah to the first one, absolutely to the second. First question was, did we answer your question? Second question was, do you want to continue discussing? You say yeah to both. I'm assuming the first question though. Um, there's lag. There's asking two positive questions. Okay, so here is my approach, by the way, that I was trying to get to, that I finally decided on. I want my UI to only reference the interface, the abstraction layer. So this is going to have all of my interfaces for my services. It's going to have all of my interfaces for the models, the shared enums. I have decided to put in here, as well as the extensions for being able to get information from those enums, as well as localized text from those enums. So Tommy is stating, explaining, I'm going to implement a manual solution for the time being with the implication to my lead that things will have to be decoupled to an Azure function. Oh my gosh. AF in chat means something else entirely. In order to properly automate it without running into issues with load balancing in multiple instances. So if he allows me to delegate more time to the automated solution, then I'll do that. Awesome. I mean, I would start writing it as a separate. I don't know if you're allowed to create new projects, but I would have the scheduled service as a separate project that you just reference from your main app. And that way it's still part of your main app, but then you could take the exact same code and put it into your daemon if you end up going with the daemon, into your Azure function if you do that. Pretty much 95% done without the automation part. Awesome. That's a pretty good amount. But then you get stuck at like 99%, just like Windows loaders. Terrible. Terrible. Okay. I'm grabbing you next. Ooh, that sounds hot. Copy. And pasta. And yeah, I'm pulling it out. After I say I'm grabbing you, Tommy is now pulling it out and trying to implement it in an Azure function, but my deadline is EOD today or Monday. Yeah. I would definitely finish what you're doing, because if you're doing it in a way that you can already have it separate from all of the rest of your code, yeah, I would just, like, if you're going to spend time on it, I would just move it into a separate library and that's it, and reference the library in your main app. I wouldn't try to set up the Azure function yet. If I were you, I'd be working on it in the evening and then throughout the weekend until it got done in an Azure function. That's terrible. Don't work like that. Have boundaries. Oh yeah, here's an example of one of the fun things. one of the many fun things that's going to happen when I try to abstract this. Pasta. Okay, so this would be an I enumerable of I line item view model. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. I have some thoughts on this, and it's Duca Soft. He wants a Duca. Duca. Um, he wants a Duca sound clip. You're gonna have to make your own and then send it to me, and then I'll add it. Happiest of weekend beginning, Duca. Says DC Aggie to Duca Soft. But hi, Duca Soft. Welcome in. I hope you had a great majority of your day. Beginning of your day. Beginning of the weekend. This thing. This is what I was looking for. Okay. This is what my brain does when I see any kind of collection of interface. Oops. My brain says system.text.json is no longer usable or viable in my application, in anything that implements this, because iLine item view model would need a concrete type in order to deserialize it if, when it got serialized, it didn't keep its type information, which is just about everything in system.text.json when you serialize with it, unless that's changed. It's been a while since I've tried it. So my solution to this, and again, tell me if this is not a good solution, because this is the approach that I am taking in my actual work product, is to make this be of T line item type, where T line item view model is a class, so it must be an actual implementation, and it must implement I line item view model. And that way I can have an I enumerable of T line item view model. And so let's say that I was implementing that here. This would be implements I line item view model of line item, sorry, not I line item, I payment entry view model of I line item view model. Oops. Right, and the issue is that this is supposed to now be an I enumerable, I think. No, you're still not saying that you're implemented. I enumerable of, I thought that I just switched that out. Did I not save or something? You're doing it wrong. This talk is above my head. Oh man, couldn't be better, says Dukasoft. My kids' school had lots of cake. Yum. But I am doing it wrong. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, because I put eyeline on. Anyway, there we go. Oh, right. And then that would also mean that my line item view model must implement I line item view model in order for this to work. Okay, so this is my approach. I had to take a phone call and came back to lots of cake. So for my abstraction layer, when I have any model or service that depends on another model or service, I will provide type parameters into the interface and constrain them to class and implementation, or class and interface. Which means that if this thing had like 30 models inside of it, then I would have 30 generic types that would all need to be specified when you implement it. And I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Coming up with creative ways to make it look like automated realms is actually smart. Thank you, DC Hacky. You mean the hat with the new feather in it? I love it. Yeah. So I'm not seeing any immediate feedback, any immediate responses to this. So if you're all busy, I completely understand, or if you don't care, completely understand. So I'm going to keep going this way, but if it gets out of hand, then I'll come up with a different approach. Huh? She had an overactive automated realm? Not even she could do a so? So I gave it a timeout. My automated realms wasn't listening to her chat, was it? Yeah, I know what an SO is. It was? Nuh-uh. I mean, I connected to her chat once. How long ago? Because my bot does not respond to other people's chats. Yeah, please do. So I listen to other people's chats so that I can test my bot for various things. I usually try to ask for permission before I do that, but like the very first thing that happens in process command on message received is this. Oh. Where did that go? Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is why it wasn't doing it before, but the thing that I need to happen is if not chat message dot. Dang it. I'm sorry, Layla. She didn't even tell me today. Unless she did tell me today, but I wasn't really able to. Um... Yeah, she just didn't tell me today. But Automated Realms is my bot, and apparently I was listening to her chat yesterday. Yesterday? I wasn't even working on my bot yesterday. I think you forgot one of the 3 laws. Well, I'm new to this, so please give me a pass. Channel not equals my channel, then return. I totally thought that if my bot was listening to other people's channels, it's not supposed to do any kind of messaging or responding to messages. Damn, I feels bad now, man. And you know what? It's gonna stop processing the at me messages until it learns how to say new things. It's done. I love hot reload, by the way. Like immediately, the next time that you mentioned automated realms on there, he didn't respond. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely do need to. I mean, do I still subscribe to her? She hadn't been streaming for a long time, so I let my subscription stop. But since she's back to being active, I'll most likely resub. Awesome. Thank you so much for the follow, David Mautro. Mautro. I like it. Hot reload. Yeah, I'll definitely need to apologize to her. She probably didn't even know that that was my bot, and damn, feels bad. I wonder how many other people I was doing that to when I was listening to their channel passively just to get my bot some data. Gosh, terrible person. It's the end of the world. I'm going to be stuck on that for the next 3 hours. Okay, so this is going to work for me. Unless we have any naysayers, I'm going to continue with it. So gimme some lovin'. Gimme some lovin'. Gimme some lovin' every day. Commercial tacos. Copy. If only the bot had proper logging. Seriously. You know what, though? No, I don't. I was going to say, I think I immediately turned on Serilog, so every time that I did logger.log, it should have logged to event log, but it's only logging to console. Even worse. Even worse. Okay, well, at least now you know who Automated Realms is, Thindle, for anyone else's channel that you might mod. I will do my best to always inform the streamer that Automated Realms is hanging out in their channel just listening. Actually asking for permission first is what I meant to say. Because like I asked Irish John Games. Yeah, I don't know how it could have stopped any messages in Layla's stream. So like my SO is turned off. And the issue that happens is when I run any command that is disabled, it responds with that courteous comment. So let's watch an actual shout out clip of Thindle. And so the clip still plays.
Let's go then. Time to make pew pew.
Pew pew.
Kill
Pew pew.
all the small furry animals. No, wait. Let's not do that.
Don't kill animals.
It's this
No,
clip
especially
again.
not small and furry ones.
Yes.
Sounded sad there.
Maybe a little.
Not the small and furry ones.
What about the big furries?
So you can see that even though Automated Realms did do the response, it did the shout out still. Like there is nothing in automated realms that tells it to block any messages at all. It's listening to AutoMod, but that's it. And on top of that, it won't be able to listen to AutoMod on her channel because I don't have her channel ID, channel secret stuff in my app that would allow me to do pub sub to her channel. So I have no idea how it would have blocked her stuff. I just know that it would have been really annoying because every single time you ran a regular shoutout or a SO or a massage peen. I wonder if we can get massage peen working. You know what? No. Let's do that in a second. I cracked the secret of Twitch. Yeah, man. I'm gonna apologize to her very soon. Okay, before I do that though, I'm gonna tell you that you implement this thing, and I'm gonna tell you that you implement this thing. Great, grand, fantastic, wonderful, marvelous. Have a couple of service extensions. That's good. I have an identity model. That is going to implement I login, and you copy and pasta and semicolon. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I still have a lot of trouble with that. Kindle. That is my bane. Not gonna fight. That's not what I want to use energy on. Yeah, definitely view models would have some sort of hydration logic. DTOs would just be the POCOs. So I completely agree with you. And then models are entities. But the thing is, when I look at the actual terms that I'm using, this deposit view model is used for driving data inside of a view. So if I have a deposit form, for example, deposit entry form, the thing that's driving the data is my deposit view model for the deposit form. But from an MVVM perspective, if I think about it that way, MVVM does really have a specific understanding of what really a view model should do, and that is it has not only the properties but also POCOs, but also hydration methods and maybe API interactions even, and logic. So searching model on Stack Overflow versus searching model on I don't know what pH is. If you just think of it as a model for the view, then it's something entirely different than an MVVM view model. Yep. Yeah, and so I don't really use MVVM view models at all. I use services. So if you ever watch James Montemagno's MVVM S, that's pretty much the thing that I've been using since 1812. Man, 1812 is such a terrible date to choose. Let's pick a different one. 1730. 17. Man, what year was that? Yeah, that was, oh, it was 1774. My bad. You'd recognize the little jingle that plays at the beginning of the videos. James always brings to my mind, everything is awesome. Why? 1981 was a decent year. 82 was better though. But 1774 though, man. If you guys were there, if you guys could remember being there, I should say, you would know what I'm talking about. A friend of mine set up a certain black leather couch as his background on Teams. 70% of his team snickered. We have a few people that do, Jay Brooks. Who knows? You may get some business today. Back in 1774, I was programming on a hand cranked 2-bit computer. Coding with Scott knows what he was doing. I had the Impactus model, if that helps you. I didn't really have anything as fancy as a hand cranked one. I only had the Impactus. Anyway, so we have our models. Kindle is saying, did you know that some of the first machines that used punch cards were embroidery machines in France that were powered by water wheels? I did not. I was not in France during that time, I don't think. But then again, I was. I was not actively in France. Moving on. I'm going to confuse a lot of people if I keep doing that. Okay, so I have all of my interfaces for the models, all of the models, and then I have my localization, which is going to go in its own project. Which enums did go in their own project, so that's gone. Are you the Highlander of programming? No. Why? Why do you keep needing to close? So my Zoom keeps telling me that the organization has pushed an update and it needs to be closed and to install it. And it's like, I already clicked continue before. I said, do it. Just do it. Okay, it's installing. But Fendel's other fact was, did you know the word sabotage comes from the old embroiders revolting by throwing their sabbat, aka clogs, into the automated embroidery machines? Did not. Also did not. But that is very NE. Zulia says, Findle, I saw that Star Trek movie too. DC Aggie says, mine does that too, where I'll install a Zoom update, then I'll get a notification over and over, and I'm like, chill, it's already installed. This isn't going to work. You can. Feel free to share. It is Community Day after all. And actually, I want Community Day to be more special than my normal stream, but my normal stream, you can talk about whatever you want whenever you want. It's just that on Community Day, I open up the voice channel, even though there are things that I want to get done, but I still would prefer, I don't know. I don't know what I prefer anymore. Like right now, I want to try out this pattern and get kind of far with this pattern to find out if it's viable to do with my work product. Because like the struggle that I'm having right now is when I use my abstractions in the UI and I want to do something in my UI like have a data entry form for deposit. I won't be able to use a deposit view model if I'm only referencing the abstractions, which means I won't be able to instantiate a new deposit view model. And in this case, like I could type this. So I guess one thing that I do want to do with all of these anyway, which I can do now real quick, is move these to code behind files. So we could type this, as you do, as T deposit view model constrained to an I deposit view model. And then I could have this thing here be activator dot create instance T deposit view model. Oh, and then I would also need to make sure so that this thing can compile that I have my type param up here. But then I'm still going to run into the issue that on the page that I need to use this, I would need to specify what the actual view model is. So what is T deposit view model? And this would need to be the concrete class as well. Which means that my UI library would still need the concrete implementation at some point in time if I do it with this approach. And that's not going to work if the goal is to be able to switch out the implementations when integrating this UI project. Like let's say I turn it into a NuGet package and I want to reference this as a NuGet package in their application. What I think my answer is for their project is I need to have the same namespace. Yeah, I need to create my shared mocking versions of their implementations using the same namespace that their implementation currently is. Because I don't know how else to do it. Anyway, we'll see. DC Aggie was saying, if sabotage was invented today, it might be called crocizing. Because Crocs. Do you wear Crocs? Then also said the punch card format from the 1700s never changed before the late 70s when they started using digital instead. Problem is that, I don't know why, but they serialized the punch cards row by row, and even the cards were based on readable areas. The end result was a file format with a format like XX meta YY XX data YY. So XXXX was in a quad on the left side of the card, YYYY was on the right side of the card, and metadata was on two rows in between them. then keep doing that for, I think it's 6 or 7 more lines. Fun. Now, with expressing these ideas and thoughts, do you have a goal, or is it just you find joy in sharing these things? Just wondering. I find it very curious that you are compelled to share these. And I would like to know why. But you don't have to explain yourself to me at all. If you don't feel like explaining it, you don't gotta. DC Aggie says, I wear them at home and in my office, like they are slippers. Every time I get like they are slippers. Every time I get home or into my office, I do the Mr. Rogers thing. Yeah, I said a lot. Well, we were joking about the I'm gonna call it joking about the 1700s. The Impactus was a very sophisticated for its time machine machine for doing programming. At least when I was around in the it was like mid to late 1700s, but then it got replaced by the hand crank one, and I could never get into that. I kind of skipped over that iteration. I need a second ultra-wide screen. I want to keep both my VS and the stream page with the Hobbit Watch Party open. Both are too big for my 14-inch laptop screen. So I have a, 32-inch TV, two 26-inch monitors, my work laptop, my mobile studio, my other work laptop. Findle said, look at this baller rocking a 14-inch laptop. And I got this TV, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember Jeremiah. For those of you that were here when I used to work at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, and Jeremiah used to work there too. He needed to get rid of it while he was moving. It was so nice of him. Maybe next week we can do a studio tour for Community Day. I mean, if you want to, there's just not... because I have my work laptop on my desk, I would need to hide it because I can't divulge information about the client. But other than that, yeah, I could show you around. A little 11D behind the scenes action. I mean, you get to see it when I'm on this screen. That's my desk. And the only thing that's behind me is should be okay. The only thing behind me is, you can't see over there. My two guitars, actually three. The one that's sitting on the stand is the one that my dad and I built together. I have a practice bass guitar inside of the case over there. Light mode. Dizzy. But yeah, that's it. It's just a room, and I show like 90% of it on stream. Like, I don't really show much of it. Because, yeah, our gaming table is over there, and we have a couch with a TV and another computer over there somewhere. Chat? I need to scroll up. Vindel says it's tiny and cute. Oh, Because Sindel said mine is only 13-inch. It's tiny and cute. My studio is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Because he shows about 90% of it on the stream. Where did the room go? Magic! Magic is where it went. Did you notice that I don't have a green screen behind me, and yet, when I have the right lighting, it does a really good job of cutting me out and just being me. Like right here, you can kind of see some weirdness going on. No, actually, not NVIDIA. XSplit. XSplit. NVIDIA, I have heard, is really not as performant. I guess. I see a lot of weirdness going on since cutting a sky. Thanks. Thanks. What's your favorite chord to play? C sharp. That's not a chord. Betty loves the F chord. You could say C sharp major, C sharp minor, C sharp major fifth, C sharp minor seventh, maybe. C sharp minor seventh would be good. Riding the metro with big ass 17-inch laptop sucks. I can finally show you my tank. I don't know if I've ever shown you my tank. Oh. This is an Asus. Like, it feels like maybe 15-pound, 17-inch laptop. I mean, look at this thing. This is like 3 inches or something. It needs a handle. It definitely does. Oh my goodness. It's so heavy. It's... Look at this. You can see yourself now. So try going anywhere with this. I used to take this to classes with me, I think. Maybe I didn't get this until after university. I think I might have gotten this so that I could have a better computer at work. But this was supposed to be a gaming laptop. It didn't perform that well. It was just heavy. Will it get me more kills in Destiny 2? Depends. What's your computer currently? Because this thing is, I don't know, 12 years old? Maybe more? Is that an old compact 386 luggable with a built-in green screen? Oh my gosh. Yes. Flesh tank. That's terrible, DC Aggie. C sharp major general. Are we talking a Schwarzenegger drive over things tank or a fish tank? It's Schwarzenegger drive over things tank. It's built to last. But that would be a laptop that I would want to take the screen from and use in another project, because that is a big screen. It's got a great picture on it. Okay. I'd love to have an old Amber CRT, but my boyfriend would kill me if I came home with one. Aw, I thought he would kill you. He might throw you out, but I don't think he would kill you. But then again, I don't know him, so I could be completely wrong. I know you, and I don't think that you would purposefully get involved with someone that would kill you. I have a laptop with an Amber TFT. TFT. You guys in these acronyms. Like everyone is supposed to know what they mean. I know you do it on purpose, Nindle. Team Flight Tactics. Dragonlands. That's what TFT stands for. Check this out. Check out Team Flight Tactics. Team Fight. Dang it, Team Flight sounded cooler. It's a flat screen from the 80s, but monochrome. And amber. A laptop that takes 240 volts in. Okay, I'm gonna get something done. I just don't know where to go next. The next place that we need to go is to finish styling the rest of our data entry forms. Because we got the functionality set up for being able to click on each tab. And wrong app. This one. That carriage return though. Right. I did cause some errors. On purpose, of course. But can it run Crisis? Isn't that like the benchmark for everything? No. Localization. Restore already so I can add this. Wait, why didn't that actually work? Did you not actually add the dependency? Assassins. Yeah, it did. So why can't I get the extension added? It is there. Wait a minute. That's not what you needed. My bad. Good. The thing that you need is iString localizer. This. There you go. You should be having now. I said you should be having now. Oh. I'm confused. I didn't do anything ever. Open the folder, please. Finance man. Interfaces. Interfaces. Edit with Notepad. Package reference. Extensions localization. Yeah, just regular extensions localization. Okay. And now that you're there, it goes. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. I see. I see. I get it. I get it. There were little summary books. Oh, million messages because carriage return. Consolidate them, man. The original trainee pilots. Oh, the original? No. Trainee pilots? Question mark. DC Aggie said, you know how you can go to the barber college and get your hair cut for almost nothing? Actually, I do, because they're students. Dental colleges have the same thing, so here's my $1,000,000 idea. A budget airline staffed by trainee. And mechanics and flight attendees and everything. It'll be just like a learning hospital. Just as many deaths, too. It's terrible. That's mean. Kendall said, I'm in. And that's where the trainee pilots came from. My bag. That sounds expensive. If they're in training, they've probably read the manual. TC Aggie said, or at least the Cliffs Notes. Are Cliffs Notes a thing outside of the US? Kendall says, I know the expression, but it sure as heck doesn't translate. We just call it a summary. DC Aggie said, they were little summary books you could buy to supplement your studies, cramming, basically beefy cheat sheets. Came in very iconic yellow-black covers. There's actually a service out there now. It's not called Cliffs Notes. It's called Spark Notes. Spark Notes. And so you sign up for this thing and you get access to tons of Cliffs Notes, essentially. Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag not recommended. If you're going to do that, then just Google all of the resources and make your own notes. Hashtag sure. Hashtag invite me over for dinner and find out. Am I right? Don't do that. Can we? Can we build? Will it blend? Yeah, you're welcome to come over for dinner. Nope. Reload. Excuse me. Oh, wait. That's not the right imports. I need UI. Imports.razor. Change everything that says interfaces to abstraction. Reference. Oh, abstractions. Do you hear a hissing noise? And IEnumerable does not contain a definition for add. Of course it doesn't. So maybe that needs to be an I collection. That was in deposit view. Detail payment entry. We need something that has an add, and so I am going to choose an I collection. Someone needs a de-esser. Hey, I see an application. It ran. Just click the error message, man. Are you complaining about the way that I navigate my code? So by the way, Findle, the recommendation that you just gave me was double click on the error message. This is the developer PowerShell. You can't click on messages in the developer PowerShell the way that you can in your error list or in your output. Otherwise, I would have double clicked on the item and went to it there. Man. Nullable value may not be null. Right, because you are now goodness griefus, man. These brackets. Hello, Abatus. Konnichiwa. It doesn't have the power to let you click on the error. How ironic. PowerShell. I get it. I get it. Anyway, yes, they are tips. Not constructive, in my opinion, no. I think that they are rather destructive, actually, if I'm being honest. The constructive way would be, did you know that you could XYZ? Not that you were asking my opinion. Okay, so anyway, we are running. Everything is working. We have some time to work on this page a little bit. So we got the overall form for payments. Did you know that my coffee cup is empty? Did you know that you could refill it? So let's go ahead and do our deposits. Tyrant says mine too. That's sad. And happy community day, Abatus. The voice channel is still open for anyone that wants to enjoy themselves on this fantastic Friday. I probably won't be doing so much interaction because I brain do. What about you? PowerShell is a pathway to ability some would consider to be unnatural. DC Aggie said his coffee grinder just arrived. I do coffee grinder during yoga sometimes. It's good. Look, I can be the bird. I just made myself sad. Oh my goodness. Moving on. Starting to get all over the place. I will not be all over the place. Control tab down to our deposit entry page. Okay, so here's how I currently have my pages styled. We have a data entry page that has styles on it. And what I did yesterday was I split out the data entry page into one page that has it was a payment entry page, a deposit entry page, and a transfers entry page. So I turned that into one data entry page with a deposit entry form, payment entry form, or transfer entry form that can be put onto that page using this switch. So it uses the route to set an entry type parameter, and then that entry type parameter sets a local entry type field because we can only set it as a string, I think. Otherwise, we'd just be setting a number or something and then casting this to number. But anyway, I'm just parsing out whatever is passed into the string as one of these things. And if it's not a valid one, then it'll be smart enough to just go to payments anyway. Some taco. So it'll just use payments. It doesn't matter if you put something that doesn't exist after that. So then when you click on one of these buttons, it navigates to the appropriate tab. And then because we're setting that value, that's what is driving this switch in here to know which form we want to display. You can do the bird, but is the bird, in fact, the word? Question man. The answer is 16. Except you all know the real answer, but I say it's 16. So I want to style this. And because I split this, I combine I combined Dukasoft answered, and he's right. I combined the 3 pages into this one page with the 3 forms. The thing that I am going to do is style. I need to break up the styles because these styles should only apply to the page itself. And for each individual data entry component, there is going to be one set of basic styles for all of them, but each of them are going to have specific styles that only apply to that specific component. So for the payment entries page, which is this file here, is display grid, and these are my grid template areas, grid template columns, blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff is going to be inside of the data entry form. What? Right, because this isn't a payments page anymore. What does your structure look like now? Now I am having trouble with words. Thank you, though. Okay, so inside of here, we're not going to have a header. We're going to have just this stuff here. Good. Good. KD. And sumimasen, that was one too many. Yeah. Okay, that's better. Okay, save that. Don't need this. Yeah, I don't need that. Okay. Tyrant says bang English. I don't know if we can translate. Voice module, language module broke for a minute there, or at least stalled. Avidus says, I have not heard if the bird is the word. Deflex said, I've been officially told to go learn Angular. I'm almost there, Deflex. That's funny. I keep mentioning the potential project that might be coming up where they want to do their UI with Angular and Spring, Java Spring. Or I guess do the front end with Angular and then do the entire project with Java Spring. Tony's like, welcome to the club. Prog testing said 21,000 products uploaded via FTP. Amazing that FTP still works so beautifully. Thendo is like, is it done? Is it done? Just the products. Says prog testing. Now on to testing payments vendor stuff. How do I feel about that? I think that it's great that prog testing was able to upload all of those products. Sorry. I had to. I mean, isn't that a pay cut, having to learn how to do the exact same thing in a different language? Not really, no. It's still like what I'm being paid for now is UI work, and Angular is just, yeah. I don't want to speak too much because I don't know much about Angular at all. But I know that you can do UI stuff with it. I don't know if you can do the full stack with Angular. I'm assuming you can, but I don't know for sure. Angular might just be a UI framework, JavaScript framework. Yes, it is JavaScript. Tommy is explaining you have to use something like Node for the backend, as far as I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm not knowledgeable enough about it to boldly state that, or confidently state that, I guess is the phrase that I'm looking for. Let's find out what styles apply to everything. We know that display grid is going to apply to everything, and align items and gap fall into the. Why didn't that work? Like, why did that completely break? Everything. Payment entry. Aren't you the data entry form? You are. So my payment entry form ID is my data. Oh. So here's the issue with having a component as the root of your component. If you want to do isolated CSS on it, it actually needs to be inside of another container, which is really annoying. But that's the only way that you can target the child component. So really my entire thing would be ::deep, and then all of this stuff in order for my styles to actually apply. But this is just like adding an invisible container to something that's already inside of a container, which is kind of annoying, if you ask me. I'm hoping they might be able to find a solution for having a component as the only thing that's inside of your custom component, and still be able to target it with isolated CSS style sheets. CSS style sheets. Redundant. Redundantly redundant. But yeah, so let me just double check to see if I can get rid of you and you and you and yeah, that's it. I can, and there are no issues. Wait, I did that wrong. I meant to get rid of you and you from there, and from here get rid of you and you and you. Dang it. Do you need to rebuild? Let's just do chat. Hello, Big Amy. Hi. So much fun in your stream earlier today. If you guys have not seen, I'm just trying to be as cool as all of you guys. I'm not as cool as you. If you haven't seen BitGamey's stream, check him out. He's working on I Am Dog, or I'm a Dog, or anyway. I like I Am Dog. It's kind of like I Am Groot, but I Am Dog. Just a fun little game that he's putting together. Seems like a lot of fun. Then there's Thindle. who is working on my favorite type of project, which is modernizing legacy applications. And oh my gosh, it's my cup of tea. And he's also the creator of Don't Dox Yourself, which I have been so grateful for. Um, it's an extension that you can install in your Visual Studio. It's great for if you're a streamer or if you're presenting to stakeholders that don't need to be seeing your client secrets and stuff like that. And if you open up any XML, JSON, or YAML file, it will mask the values that are in there until you tell it that you want to display them. And you can toggle it on and off. It's really cool. It's really helpful. So thank you for making that, Thindle. It's been super nice, super fun. Catching up on chat. Prog Testing said he made his image downloader in JavaScript. He left C# for JavaScript. Tommy says, I confidently state plenty of things without the knowledge. I have trouble doing that. No, I don't. See, there's one instance. I have times when I don't check myself and I will state things that I'm not confident about or that I don't have very much knowledge about, and then I will look it up and be like, is that true? But I generally don't leave it at, here is my statement, unless I have prior experience or knowledge with it. All of these are custom. There is nothing specific to, or nothing general, nothing that is class-based. So I get rid of all those. Those guys are all back. Okay, I still need to figure out why my styles are not applying to our data entry form from in here, which is payment entry form, which according to this is true. It's payment entry form. It is : deep. So maybe if I just gave you a class first and said class is payment entry wrapper. I don't want to put you in a wrapper. And styles. Nope, no styles. Okay, I'm going to fail at that until I'm able to actually look at it. But I think for the rest of the stream, the only thing that I'll be able to do is work on chat. Catch up with you guys. Find out what's going on. I've been doing a terrible job of community day. But I hope you guys have still enjoyed some of the content, or most of the content, or the interactions, or trolling, or whatever it is that you get joy out of. Deflux said, right. Well, say if you were told to redo your financial management tracker project in Angular, so if this was a real project that I was doing for a client, and I did it all in Blazor because that's what we originally decided to do, and they're like, we need it actually done in Angular so that this other team can support it and maintain it after you're done with the project or whatever. So redo it all in Angular. Then I would do it because I'm getting paid to do that. From my perspective, that's constructive dismissal. Tommy said, I was told I'll eventually have to remake the application I've been working on for the past year in Angular eventually. My response was just to start making API endpoints to return a DTO as JSON whenever I make an endpoint for my actual application. Absolutely. So if you've abstracted all of your logic enough, then it doesn't matter what they tell you to redo your front end, and it's all going to use the same API, most likely. And then when I swap things over to Angular, it'll be as simple as calling the same backend, but just using the API endpoints in place of the original, and then redoing the UI. I agree. I agree with you. Deflex says, yeah, we are doing the same thing. Backend will remain .NET and hand over JSON. Yes. And then shout out for Big Amy, shout out for Tyndall. Happened. Nope, you're not as cool as me. You're cooler. Lies. You shouldn't lie. Big Amy says, it might turn into I am dog yet. Awesome. Yeah, it's been really fun watching you just figure things out and work on it and do cool stuff. I love your streams. They're so cool. You're so cool. I love your baby face. That one is just the coolest. Tommy says, yeah, it's pretty common, and I think it's a pretty good move when scaling up. But then again, there's plenty of ways to handle things. TypeScript is fun to code in, not nearly as frustrating as JavaScript. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it relatively. Big Game says, how does it know what to mask? Ask Thindle. Oh wait, Thindle is answering you. It parses the tree and then locates the offsets in the file for the value areas. Yeah, it's awesome. I love your baby face too. Oh wait, my routine. Yes, yes, Big Amy, but both. You still have a baby face regardless. It's also built to fail close. Yeah, so like if you have a malformed one and it can't parse it, it will just fail and mask the entire thing. And that way, yes, absolutely, and perfect timing. Oh, I love that. Oh, such a good sound. Yeah, many fail safes for that. There was one really interesting thing that I was trying to tell people about Thindle. In my secrets, I had in my bots secrets. Where's my UI project? I mean my app project. Yeah, secrets. I had an object that was like my Twitch options, which was an object. Whoa. I know, phone. I know. I felt myself type incorrect things just then. Twitch options colon curly brace. There you go. And then yeah, this will work. No, give me that. Give me that. Or not. There it goes. Okay. So I had what are you even doing here? I had that, and then I had a key for channels, which was an array. Oh my gosh. Why are you being so weird? Because I didn't put a comma there. Okay. How do I turn it back on? I'm just gonna close it and reopen it. Too lazy. And for some reason, I had like multiple channels in here. For some reason, it wasn't masking the first item in the list, which just happened to be my channel. And so like this would be showing, but everything else was properly masked. But I can't get it to do it again, so I'm sure you fixed it without even knowing. But it was crazy. It was like every single time I opened my secrets, the value in this first array index was displayed. Everything else was good. But I can't reproduce it, so I didn't submit it as an issue. And I don't use the same thing anymore. Manage user cigarettes. Yeah, I've removed the channels to join from my user secrets. So I don't even use that property anymore. It's the ending period. Was there a period in there? Oh, it's hiding the ending quotation mark. Oh yeah, that one is. And that was when I told it that it could automatically accept whatever the recommendation was. Gosh, I want to submit this as an issue for you so that you don't have to try to remember this, but I need to get back to work. Yeah, but it's both the question mark and the comma. Is it because this is a URL? Maybe? I went to tools and no docs toggle configure value visibility. And it gave me this error. Do you want a screenshot? No, it's okay. You did. I still love this tool, okay? It's a great tool. But this is kind of odd that it's doing this. What if you weren't a URL? Yeah. So if it's not a URL, then it works just fine. I got rid of the HTTPS : and I think the repro might be a colon slash. Okay, so 2 forward slashes inside of the thing, and they can be anywhere. Yeah, two consecutive forward slashes. Yeah, it's a great extension. It's a great extension. I know what I'm doing tomorrow night then. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry we didn't have much of a super fun community today. I'm not a fun person, but you guys still end up showing up, so I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for kind of sticking with me while I talked out the approach that I'm thinking of taking, but I still have no idea what to do with all of the concrete models that need to be instantiated inside of my UI. That, because I really only want it to rely on the abstraction project, because I'm wanting to use only theirs. But it's almost seeming like I need to reference both their abstraction project in the UI as well as their concrete implementations. But at that point in time, I don't know how to make my own mock. Mm-mm. But that's okay. No coffee and no code is true. Hello, Ergenrod. If you've been lurking this whole time, or if you just got here, thanks for being here. I hope you guys join me again on Monday. Thindle's running. Hope you join me again on Monday. Thanks for the cake today. Great as always. Cake is a lie, except for from your children's schools. Um, cool. Thank you so much, though. We will be here again. I'm gonna go ahead and start a raid. I want to get him back. Nobody that isn't amazing. Nope, nobody. I was trying to word it cleverly. Anyway, this is Simple Game Dev. He is a game developer, and I hear 119 is good. Have you ever rated him? He does some really, really freaking cool work. I love Artificial. It looks great. It's got a great aesthetic, and the gameplay was fun. I played the demo. It's coming out soon. But yeah, I'll be around in the Discord community voice channel after I grab a snack, and I'll be back again on Monday, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be lurking on Simple Game Dev stream, and then when Irish Jones starts streaming, I'll be lurking on his channel. That's it for me. I'm gonna pass out now. Now I'm gonna get food. Okay. Bye bye. Lasers.